Hi everybody, welcome back to the BVGN show, and today we're going to do something a little different today. As you can see right here, I have my Commodore 1541 disk drive, or 1541C to be precise. Now, the reason I've got this out here, because I'm going to take this apart and we're going to look at the inside guts of this particular drive. I thought, because it might be a little bit interesting as you see what it's like inside this ancient piece of technology here. I had this for a while, and just in case you're wondering, no, it's not broken. It's in really good condition. I tested it earlier before I did this video, and basically it's having no problems at all. So, well, touching wood. So basically I thought, you know what, let's just go open this thing up and just see what's made this thing tick. So well, before we do that, let's take a look at the well, the drive itself from the outside. So you can see in the back we've got the switch, the on and off switch here, the plug obviously to put the power in, the two serial ports, one to plug into the Commodore 64 or whatever computer you attach it to, and the other one basically you can attach to another disk drive like this from the second serial port to another, just basically daisy chain it, which is probably more useful than you might think. And everything else just looks regular underneath it. You've got the grills obviously for heating reasons. Right, enough about that. Let's get the screwdriver and open this baby up. Right, with that open, let's take a look on the drive itself and see what we got here. As you can see, this is the disk drive mechanism. Oh, in fact, let's take this cardboard protection out. This is definitely used if you want to move this drive without damaging the head, obviously, because it would be very bad if that got damaged. Very bad indeed. As this is the head itself where it reads the discs. This is only one single head drive though, so basically if you, at certain games, if you want to continue loading, it does say take the disc out, turn it around, and basically that's how adds more memory into the game. Unfortunately, there is a double-headed disk drives later on in the Commodore's life, but obviously for the 1541 it's only single-handed only, so you just have to get used to that. It's a pretty nice mechanism. Obviously it has the closing handle there, so basically when you put the disc in, you close it there, it holds it into place, and you're pretty much good to go. Let's take a look at the motherboard itself. As you can see, it's in pretty good condition, really. I'm really impressed that this survived this long over all these years. Everything looks a good nick. A little bit dusty as usual, but nothing new, really. Let's take a look at the chips. As you can see, this one right here is the 160502 CPU, which is probably the same one, I believe, for the VIC-20 and many other computers at the time. That's right here. The Sanyo LC35178-15, that is the RAM chip right here, holds 2 full kilobytes. Yeah, 2 kilobytes of RAM. There you go, that's what it looks like. And I believe this is the ROM chip, which holds its own source code. It has its own DOS program as well. So essentially what this is, it's not just a disk drive. This thing is also like a computer in its own way. So essentially you can upload a code if you want to this thing to change its behavior, which why how these things work. These fast load cartridges, this one's from the Future was 8-bit, by the way, if you were wondering. Essentially what this does, it has its own specific code. You put it into the C64, and then that C64 transfers it into this baby right here, uploads the code into here, like I said, changes behavior, tells it to load the games faster, and that's how it works. So there you go. So you're wondering how these things work to make the games load faster, or at least some loading disk faster. Yep, it's basically it's a specific code from this particular cartridge, and then goes straight into here. So there you go. Right, so that's pretty much the motherboard and the disk drive mechanism out of the way. Let's basically remove this board and see what's underneath this bad boy. So with that board out of the way, let's take a good look at this chunky thing right here. This is indeed the power supply right here. This basically drives all the power to the drive, to the motherboard, obviously. So there you go. That's what it looks like. Now these things are eternally. Right, that board out of the way, let's take a good look at this chunky thing right here. This is indeed the power supply right here. Obviously, it powers the drive and powers the motherboard on top here. So basically, it powers up the whole entire device. Now, the external power supply can be a good thing. Obviously, you don't need to use power bricks to, basically draw the power into this device. But also, it does tend to have a massive problem, which is these things do tend to produce quite a bit of heat, especially after long use. As a result, the top of the case obviously has these grills right here to vent the heat out. And if you cover those vents, yeah, this will result to a lot of problems. So that's why in the later model of the 1541 drive, the Model 2, they actually removed the internal power supply and, just like I said, use the power brick, which tends to be more increases reliability, and as a result, that's why many people prefer to have one of these instead of these, because just in case these basically go very, very hot and basically kills the whole thing. So that's why don't ever cover the vents, please, for the love of God, don't ever do it. Before we put this thing back together, let's give you a bit of a quick note about the drive mechanism head right here. Now, like many other systems, if you put a disk in and it says it couldn't read the disk or there's a bit of error, normally the case is it's obviously over the years, dust can get into the system, especially the head right here, and there's your problem. So normally you do is get some rubbing alcohol and cotton bud, generally clean this up to make sure that basically you can read the discs properly again. And also as an additional thing, these rails right here, these probably need to be lubricated, so you just some leafing grease on there, and that should make the head go up and down much more smoother and makes things a lot easier again. So one bit of a hint right there if you want to open these things up. Now, I could technically just want to take this apart as well, but I don't feel too comfortable doing that in the moment, so I just want to show you some of the ingots of this thing, and just for entertainment for you guys. Right, at this point what I'm going to do now is put it all back together and plug it into my Commodore and maybe plug in, play some games with it, so bear with me just a few minutes. Right, as you can see, back in my Commodore setup, the T64 is up and running with the fast sold cartridge in place. The disk drive is up and running. As you can see with the green light, it is still alive. And what we're going to do is going to upload Rainbow Islands, the disk game, into the drive. And then I'm going to close it. Now let's do the command code. That's the Commodore logo and running stop. So that's probably normal.